junkerred ved juletid.
Ching chang ching lutilej.
Og bring ham dannet sneen hvid.
Ching chang ching lutilej.
So TOTES, the topic of the episode show, is our weekly topic show where we give you a topic to talk about. And we talk about what you think about the topic that we told you to talk about. It's pretty fun.
And I really like this week's topic. It was if you had lottery money, what would your gaming room look like?
Yeah.
And one of the responses we got was from Duncan at Tall Tutor on Twitter. He said it would be the same room, but on a yacht. And I'm like, okay, I can see that.
I can dig that. Yeah. For me, my ideal gaming room is the same thing as my ideal home theater setup, because I am an AV junkie. So it would be a adequate home theater. It doesn't have to be very big. I would consider 4K projection at this point because I want a rather large screen. But the ideal thing is not only to have 7.2 sound, surround sound. I'm currently rocking 5.1. I'd like to go to 7.2, but the big thing that I never hear people talk about, because I'm an AV junkie, I will talk about it, is how are you going to route all those consoles? How are you going to route all those consoles so you can play all the games that you want anytime that you want? And the way that I would do that, I've seen home theater setups do, but I haven't seen gaming setups do, which is to have a dedicated closet, quotation marks, closet, that has adequate AC and ventilation, and you have all of your consoles hooked up there. That way they're out of sight, because a lot of gamers, what they do is they display all of their consoles and look at all my consoles, and when you walk into a setup like that, if you're not a junkie for that kind of setup, then you walk in and go, this looks messy. But if you walk into a home theater and it's just like, hey, what game do you want to play, and you can't, everything is just kind of out of the way, it's very not only is it tasteful, but it looks real. It doesn't look cluttered, and then you just have HDMI switches and a receiver programmed to a Logitech remote. Mm-hmm.
I've seen that. I also I saw a setup online one time that was like it looked like you know how the cover of System Shock 2 looks? Like it's got all the wires coming out everywhere, and there's a lot of examples of that in cyberpunk and sci-fi.
Yeah,
but just the very distinct corners and spread out. So I would have that for my primary stuff, and then off to the side, I'm gonna have a CRT setup where it has all of the a CRT setup with basically the consoles before HDMI started.
Yeah,
or HD started, really.
You're talking the RGB, RCA cables and component cables, composite cables.
Yeah, and then just a manual switcher there, because it's okay to have it a little janky for old, because that's how it worked originally. Anyway,
I'm okay with that for some retro games. Some I don't think if you have the right conversion, they actually look really good and really good when they're up converted. The only reason I would use a CRT personally for that. Some people say color. No, it's not that. If you have everything dialed in right, you're fine with that. The biggest reason is if you want to play Duck Hunt. If you want to play Duck Hunt, you have to play on a CRT. So in that case, I could see using a CRT for that.
Alternatively, you can play Duck Hunt with a white piece of paper.
You can.
And then you win every time.
You get the perfect score. But we don't condone cheating like that.
No, we don't.
To me,
but
I think,
okay, so what would be the essential consoles that you would need? Because we've talked a lot about AV setup and stuff, but which are the essential consoles, and would you at any point do emulation for cleanliness? Because have a Chris White sized wall of the games and everything.
Sure.
Would you want to have that as part of your gaming room, or would you want to shrink it to where it was manageable?
So I like the idea of this being a 2-room process, by the way. I like the idea of before you walk into the home theater, if you will, you have all the games on the walls that you can pick from.
For me, I would have to go back to NES, no further.
Yeah, I agree.
But I would want to have the Super NES collection, and since we're talking about lottery money, I'm going to have 2 copies of everything. I'm going to have the big games for me. Like I'm going to have a mounted copy. I'm going to spend the money into the Super NES dedicated area. I'm going to have on the wall. I'm going to have like Fixed and Chrono Trigger and Zelda and Mario Kart and the Metro, the really important ones that came from that era. And then like Xbox, they're coming up on, you can just have the Xbox One and everything works.
Everything, yep. That's the idea. I would agree with you. I go back to NES. I wouldn't go back any further than that. To me, I don't foresee a pull and a need to at a whim be able to play Pitfall or ET. Just doesn't really appeal to me.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of putting up like the sealed framed copies like in shadow boxes of those big titles that are important to history, that are important to you. I think they're important. I think that for me, the NES, to me the NES, the Genesis, the PlayStation all have to be in there. N64, I think may or may not need to be in there.
I love parts of that system, but all I really want out of the N64 is Perfect Dark and F-Zero X.
Yeah, and GoldenEye.
Like everything else, because like the 3D versions of the 3D version of Ocarina of Time that came on the 3DS.
Yep.
Is way better. Like it's just it is a one-to-one conversion, and then they improved it. That's the thing is like is companies are starting to recognize that we want to play those games again or for the first time or whatever, mostly again, I would imagine. And I think it's getting a lot simpler.
Yeah, we don't want to reimagining. We want that game. We want it to be convenient for us to play now, and I think that's one of the big reasons I was going to say I don't need the 64, because I would have a Nintendo Wii U hooked up as well as a Switch. But for the time being,
I need the Wii U for Mario Maker because they haven't brought it out yet.
For Mario Maker, but also Ocarina of Time and other games are on that. So the games that were on N64, I can play Mario 64 on the Wii U. So in that case,
that's true. So until Virtual Console comes, we have to keep up with the Wii U.
Exactly. So I'll still have my Wii U, which honestly, I still like that console. I play my Wii U as much as I play my PS3, and I have to play my PS3 for the show. I don't have to play my Wii U for the show. So that being said, I would skip N64 personally. Now you get into the more modern consoles. Debatable whether or not you need the PlayStation 2, because a lot of those titles are on PlayStation 4 now. There's not a lot of remasters, so that's an optional. Depends on your setup. If we're talking about unlimited lottery money, I would probably have all of these hooked up and ready to go. Just to do it, and the closet in this case would be a walk-in closet that you can see everything. Again, neat that way you can walk in, you can put in the game that you want to play and go play it in the movie theater room. Now here's the other bit that I want to do. My in-laws got something recently, and it is it's like a big picture frame that is digital, and you can put digital photos on it that can kind of either rotate, or you can Wi-Fi broadcast. Say, I want to upload this photo, not broadcast, but say, I want to change out the image and do this instead. So what I want to do with that is I would have it set up that if you're having some people over and they're hanging out and eating before you play, or you're just watching, if you're watching a movie, lights have to go out. If you're playing a game, lights don't have to go out. So in that case, I would have 4 of those, 2 on each side of the walls of my home theater, and those would have game like movie posters, but games. So video game posters would be there, and because they're digital, I can interchange them anytime that I want through the flip of a couple keystrokes on my PC, as opposed to having to change it out. If we're playing Mario Kart, all Mario stuff is going to be there. It's all going to be Nintendo. If we're gonna play anything else, something else will be themed there. It'd be amazing.
So I just came up with this. So you know how they have those picture frames that like cycle through pictures and stuff?
Yep, that's what this is.
I want a poster-sized version of that with NES covers.
That's what this is.
That just goes through them all.
That's what this is.
Okay, you broke up for a second. Okay,
it's a giant movie poster size frame that you can put whatever you want in it.
That truly does sound amazing.
So
I would be about that.
What they're doing, you know, they put artwork or whatever in it. Like I said, I would be putting video game art on there if we're playing games. Now, if people are coming over to watch a movie, then you'd have like different movie. I'll usually have movie posters out, because I think the movie posters, I think, are more artful. Because usually when it comes to video game posters, you don't have a lot of video game posters that people want and keep, because it's not part of the video game history and heritage. But for movies, that's a big part of the heritage for the cinema, for going to the theater. But I think that would be a really cool key to that. But was Duncan asking about HDMI switches? Or was he asking about Nintendo Switches?
Yeah, he was saying HDMI. But anyway, so if we had lottery money, and see, that's the thing, is like once you get an AV guy and he's talking about his lottery money version, he's going to go into some pretty specifics that lost me at one point. You may have noticed if you're watching live or later.
But I guarantee if you have this set up this way, that no matter who comes in there, they're going to love and appreciate the setup, whether they're an AV junkie or not. Because, like, for instance, if Courtney or anybody else came over and they were going to watch a movie or play a game, they would appreciate the nice, well put together, clean home theater looking room. It's not cluttered. But if at the side or the front of that home theater, if you had a bunch of consoles hooked up with a bunch of games, I feel like it clutters it. And if you have enough money to have a house big enough for all this, then I say you have a dedicated room for the experience, and you have another dedicated room for looking at the heritage and the history, looking at all the games, and then
I like that. Kind of like Full Metal Penny on Twitter has a room for his Batman stuff.
Yes,
that room is amazing. It is like okay, he doesn't have anything that plays like angel choral sounds whenever you walk into it, but you still hear them because that room.
It's amazing. See, and that's what you could do with that room prior to the home theater set.
Yeah.
With games or whatever you want.
And so I think my conclusion is that if I have lottery money, you are doing my setup for all of that.
As long as you have the lottery money and I get to do the same thing in my house.
With lottery money, you get to duplicate it.
Okay, then that's fine. That's fine.
So there we go.
So that's what we would do. Let us know what you think, what you would like to do about what you would do if you had lottery money. Would you create a video game mecca paradise thing, or would you do more of a home theater setup, or would you do none of the above and completely disconnect from the world?
Thanks for watching This Week in Our Collective Heads. Subscribe over here and click the bell, and that way you'll know about any new videos that we put up, because we put up a lot of gameplay, a lot of stories from games and stuff like that, and gameplay is down here.
Yeah, and you got more editorials and news stuff down here. Check it out.